To be completely honest with you, right? My hype for WWE gets lower and lower and lower every single week. Last night's Raw, we'll quickly go over it. We start with Roman Reigns. Basically says that he hasn't beat himself, he lost his bloodline, he lost his title, and he wants to regain his titles. Right? I'm gonna come back here for a minute about the bloodline thing. Jay is still cool with you. He basically still has your back. He's cool with you. Jimmy is cool with you, with Roman. He still has Roman's back. Same with Jay. Same with Sammy. He basically still has his bloodline, but they just don't come out with him week to week. You know, he basically just isn't in charge of all of them anymore. That's basically what it is. Anyways, thought that was a little bit of a stupid point, but I got what he was going. I got what he was talking about. I got the point. He says he lost his titles. I think that he's gonna beat Bronson Reed, hopefully, then beat Braun Breaker, bloody tanned, Umpa Breaker. He'll probably beat him. Then he'll go on to hopefully, maybe, if we do go in this direction, I wouldn't be too mad at it if he finally goes on and beats Seth Rollins for the world title. I wouldn't be too mad at it. And maybe then Punk can beat Roman. If they did that, I would be fine with it. But that was basically what Roman said. Bronson comes out. Actually, no, Paul Heyman comes out and talks about you should acknowledge your Shula Fala and a load of crap, and he basically says, I still love you, Roman, and that basically Bronson Reed is going to beat the hell out of you at Clash in Paris. Then Bronson Reed gets on the mic, says a few words. He says basically about the tribe. He says, my tattoos, Roman, they were fought for, yours were bought, which I liked that. They should have leaned more into the tribe thing in this feud instead of the shoe thing. I read a tweet about this today, and I completely agree with the tweet. I can't remember who tweeted it, but I even thought when Bronson Reed mentioned the tribe thing that this was actually kind of a good thing. So yeah, that was a decent thing for Bronson Reed to say. They should lean more into that instead of this whole Shula Fala taking the shoes thing. I'm not the biggest fan of the taking the shoes thing. If you are, comment down below. And that's that. And then they just brawled, and then that was it. That was the segment. That's it. That's all you get from this. So we're going to move on from the next thing. Next thing was the Judgment Day versus JD McDonough versus Dragon Lee. Who could care? We can get into that. Let's rant about that. Let's not even bother talking about the match. Let's just have a rant about the bloody tag team titles. We had the Judgment Day, JD Finn versus Mr. Iguana and Dragon Lee. Right? JD wins. Judgment Day wins. Then, the next week, we're like, you know what? We're going to have Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough. Dragon Lee wins. JD McDonough loses. Tag champ loses. Makes him look like a jobber, even though they beat this tag team last week. That's it. Who knows where we go next week? We'll probably get Dragon Lee versus Finn Balor, because that's what Triple H does. He does... We'll get like JD versus Dragon Lee this week. Next week it's JD versus or Finn Balor versus Dragon Lee, and then it's Dominic, then someone else. That is literally how Triple H books his shows, and I'm so sick of this crap. The tag division is absolute garbage. They have a few tag teams on this division. I like the Creed Brothers, they're not bad. The Viking Raiders are boring. The New Day are kind of entertaining and kind of funny, but they're just booked like jobbers. They had the titles. What a forgettable reign. Same, the Judgment Day beat them a few weeks ago. Same with the Viking Raiders. What a bloody boring, forgettable reign. None of these tag divisions on Raw are booked good, and they barely defend their titles. And when they do, it's forgettable, and it's against, like, the LWO, who will win one contenders match, and they're not even built up for the opportunity before that. So yeah, it's kind of a load of crap, but it is what it is. You know what I mean. Right, let's get into the next thing. Also, yeah, we're getting into this. Let's go to the IC title next, because we're going to review Raw, but we're also going to dig apart WWE right now for their booking of this shit. The tag division sucks on Raw, I gotta say it. Then, the SmackDown division. Brilliant. I love the SmackDown Tag Division. They actually defend their titles. The champs are decent. White 6 aren't doing too bad with the titles. I wish they would do a little more, though, instead of just walking around backstage looking at tag teams. But they had a number one contendership match. Mellow Adult Miz versus Street Profits. Winners face the White 6. At least they're doing some better stuff over on SmackDown on the tag division. And that's Friday's video. We're going to be talking about SmackDown. We're going to be ranting about that. Today we're ranting about Raw and the shit going on in Raw. AJ Styles. Let's mention them, right? AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio have been in a feud for the Intercontinental Championship right now, and basically AJ Styles just costs Dominic matches. That is basically the feud. Basically, right? So here's the thing. AJ Styles faced Dominic at SummerSlam. It was an okay match. It was one of the worst matches of the night too, but I didn't mind it because at least they told the story where Dominic was trying to cheat, and I was into that. I was okay. I was alright with that. That's fine. AJ, Dominic, can we please end this? Next week on Monday Night Raw, if AJ Styles does not win, then this title, the Intercontinental title, is fucked. And I gotta be honest with you here. Because Dominic Mysterio does nothing with this title. WWE does not book anyone defending their championships, and I'm sick of it. And I'm coming out here, I'm ranting. I love WWE, right? But this year, there's only been a few moments and a few things that I have loved about WWE, and I'm sad to see WWE where it is right now. I'm sad that it's bad, and I'm sad that I'm ranting, and I don't like to do this. You know, I'm mainly positive, but going on now, we are going to be destroying these shows if they are bad. I'm going to be ripping WWE apart right now in this video. So yeah, we're only 6 minutes in. We're only getting started. Who knows if AJ Styles is going to win this match as well. Even if AJ Styles wins this match, doesn't mean that everything is going to be awesome and everything's going to be great when AJ wins it. Because who knows? They probably won't even book AJ Styles defending this title because they do not book their champions wrestling and defending their titles on Raw and barely on pay-per-views. Dominic's title defenses was Penta, Octagon Jr., and AJ Styles. And he's had it since April. He's had it since WrestleMania. So there you go. There's that. Let's move on to the next thing. AJ Styles better win the IC title. The Intercontinental title absolutely sucks right now. Then we got Penta versus Kofi Kingston. I like Penta. He's a good wrestler. I like him, right? Good wrestler. He goes out there, he wrestles, and he most likely 99% of the time wins. This week, he lost to Kofi Kingston. What a shocker. What a surprise. They actually booked something different. But yeah, okay. Well, the worst thing about this is, where does it lead now? Where does this go? What are we doing now with this, huh? Penta just loses to Kofi Kingston? What did the New Day do next? Are the New Day gonna go after tag titles, or are they just too busy right now facing Penta? We also have Grayson Waller with this group. What a waste of potential. Grayson Waller, who could be doing great things in the mid card, is stuck in a kind of entertainment, funny feud thing with the New Day, where the New Day don't even want him in the group. They're gonna kick Grayson Waller out of this group, and then who knows what Grayson Waller is gonna do afterwards. Hopefully, Grayson Waller, they start actually using that guy and actually start bucking him. Like Grayson Waller, this guy's pretty much a jobber. Can we start actually booking Grayson Waller better? When Theory returns, hopefully he goes into a feud with Austin Theory. But that's it. I'm done talking about this trashy match. Let's get into the next segment. Okay, the next segment I actually liked. It was Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella had a promo. I actually didn't mind this segment. And am I arsed to sit here and quote what they said in the promo? I am not. But it was a decent to good promo battle between Becky and Nikki Bella. I didn't mind this. It was much better than what Becky Lynch did on Friday in Dublin and SmackDown. Don't even get me started on how bad that show was. I'm glad I didn't go to it. But the Cena Logan thing was entertaining. I will give that credit. I liked the Cena Logan thing. If I went, I would have been happy to see that. And the dark matches maybe would have been good. At least we got to see Sheamus. But anyways, yeah, I didn't get to go to that because the ticket price were an absolute joke. But anyways, yeah, this wasn't too bad. I'm looking forward to their match at Clash of Powers. Should be a banger. And Becky Lynch has been cooking lately with the IC title. I've been liking what she's been doing. I think it's been good with her, Lyra Bailey, and now Nikki Bella. Becky, keep up the great work. WWE, I like this. The next thing was Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez in a match that we have seen a million times. It's just one of these boring ass matches where Rhea Ripley just ends up winning, hitting a riptide. That's it. After the match, she's getting attacked by Roxanne and Raquel. Earlier in the show, we seen Io Sky talking to Rhea Ripley saying, please do not interfere in my business anymore, because Asuka and Kairi Sane are pissed off. Because she basically, if you've been following the story, you know, then basically Io Sky comes running out and helps Rhea Ripley, and then that's it. And then later in the night, Asuka is pissed off at Io, and that's it. You know what? That covers that. It was all okay. I'm not too positive about this because it wasn't the best. Eventually Oscar will turn on EO, and same with Kyrie saying they basically turn on EO. It was all alright. It wasn't the greatest. Very sorry if I sound very negative about this, but I just was not a fan of it. That's all. Then AJ Styles faced Finn Balor in an okay match. We're not going to spend long talking about this because it was just okay. We've seen this match a lot as well. AJ versus Finn, it was okay. AJ Styles ends up walking away with the victory. That is that. Let's get into the last segment on Monday Night Raw. So, we ended off the show with our main event, which is always the same. It's just Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker versus whoever's feuding with them. Braun Breaker versus LA Knight. Before that, we get a big backstage brawl. Then it escalates to the ring. We get Braun Breaker versus LA Knight in our main event. Yay! I can't wait for it. Let's go. Braun Breaker ends up hitting a spear. LA Knight gets a little bit distracted. LA Knight loses. Then it just turns into a huge brawl between, you guessed it, you know who is in this brawl as every single week it happens. LA Knight, Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, CM Punk, and Jey Uso. Of course, it's Jey Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk versus the Vision in a huge brawl. Every single week this happens. Raw ends the same way. Every week. This is how we end Raw. It's the Vision versus Jey, LA Knight, and CM Punk and Roman Reigns in a brawl. Roman was in the backstage brawl, but he didn't bother coming out to the ring. Thank God they didn't, but he just waste Roman Reigns coming out for another brawl. You know what, Roman? Stay backstage. That was it. Basically, this is our last build for the Fatal 4-Way at Clash in Paris. I will be doing predictions for that. I cannot wait for this match, though. The Fatal 4-Way should absolutely cook. I love all four of these guys. As of right now, I do not like Seth Rollins, but past Seth Rollins, of course, but as of right now, just not a fan of him. We end things with Jey Uso hitting LA Knight with a super kick. I also forgot to mention Jey also did have a backstage promo with Roman Reigns. I may have also missed a few other backstage things, but I think I covered most of the things that did happen on the show. Thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. My Final Figures. My Final Figures out. CM Punk better win the weekend. My score for Raw will be a 3 out of 5. My Final Figures out.